As the medical director of a community health center, I have 7 facilities, 45 doctors and nurses and dentists, 33,000 patients that we take care of. And my job is complex. I not only oversee the providers and the work they do, but I also oversee all of the clinical programs throughout the organization. I also look for opportunities to grow the program and, most importantly, assess what the needs of our patients in our community is to see what our programs need to do to grow to meet those needs in the community. Most of the people I consider role models are people who have succeeded despite adversity. And number one person that comes to mind is my mother. I came from a broken home. My mother was left to raise us with virtually no resources. She became a welder. But the most important thing I think that she told me and taught me was the value of an education. You know, you may have no money, you may not have a lot of things, but if you have an education, you can always succeed and nobody can take that away from you. My daughter has been a real source of inspiration for me. She is a young lady who had many challenges during her teenage years, and in the last 5 years has basically turned her life around, become administrator of a church, and she now mentors and pastors young women who are troubled. And my son started taking ballet classes with his sister and was very successful at it. And as you can imagine, being a boy in ballet in 5th grade is not a pretty thing. And yet he continued at it. He was very good, and I'm proud to say my son is now a member of the Washington Ballet in Washington, D.C. and dances at the Kennedy Center. We have a wonderful scholarship program here at Camden. Every year we give 4 scholarships to high school students who want to proceed in a healthcare career. One of those students has gone on to finish college, became a nurse, and then became a nurse practitioner. And what's really exciting is I was able to close the loop and hire this woman who now works for us as a nurse practitioner in OBGYN and women's health, doing what she wanted to do all along, which is wonderful. If you want to go into medicine these days, you really need to be a rounded student. In the past, you need to just be an achiever in science or math, and what they're looking for now are people that have a more balanced and rounded background. So make sure you include other areas and be a well-balanced person, and community service is a real bonus. And the Girl Scouts is a perfect example of that. So many of the activities revolve around doing service in the communities where you work or around you, and this is something that's looked on very positively when you're applying to college. Another piece of advice I'd like to share is find a mentor. Find someone that you admire. It could be a teacher, it could be a friend's parent, it could be anybody you know in the community or that you run into on a daily basis. If they have qualities that you admire, don't be afraid to approach them and ask them to be your mentor. It's a great way to learn. When I was a first-year medical student, I had a professor named Dr. Jack Geiger, who was actually the father of the community health center movement. And he basically taught us about community health centers, which was a new concept then, where you have a health center in a community that's underserved, where the need is. And it must have stuck with me, because after I finished my training in pediatrics, I actively sought out working for a community health center, and I've been here now 27 years, serving the community of Camden, and I like to think I maybe made a difference. Finding balance in life is really important, and for young people, you have a lot of energy, and you may be just thinking about the thing that you're trying to achieve right now, but you do need to have balance. Make sure that while you're seeking your educational goals, your career goals, that you also balance it with home, with family, with love, with your own personal passions. For myself, when I'm not at work, I dance. I volunteer and work with Ballet NJ, a regional ballet company, and I do props, I dance, I'm on the board there, I give my talents, do costumes, headwear, who knew, and I find that very restful and a change from what I do every day. At the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow, you need to think, have I left the world a better place today? And if so, then you've done a good job.